Well, my first guest is president of an organization who has a goal of giving parents the tools and information they need to talk effectively with their children about drugs and alcohol. Holly James is president of Coalition for a Drug-Free Greater Cincinnati. And welcome, Holly.
Good morning, Mona. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We work really closely with your organization, and actually all the TV stations do.
Yes.
Because this is such an important message that we try to get out to young people and parents especially to talk to their children and for caregivers and guardians and anyone really who cares about young people, to talk to them honestly and openly. And you give us information and tools to do that.
Yes.
There are 6 core messages that you have to help us to do that. And it's called Parenting for Prevention. First, I want to let you know that there's a parent's guide to talking with kids about drugs and alcohol that you offer on your website. And it has all the information, and we will let you know how you can get this guide at the end of our segment. But it has full of great information for parents and caregivers. But your first of your core messages that you have for parents is to establish good and maintain good communication. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. We know the Coalition for Drug-Free Greater Cincinnati conducts a survey every 2 years, and one of the data pieces that comes out of that survey tells us that kids whose parents or caregivers, grandparents, whoever it is, that adult influence in their life, whoever talks to them, when they hear from them, they're 55% less likely to use alcohol or drugs. That's an important, critical role for parents to play.
That's amazing. So that the parents really do have influence. Even if we think we don't have an influence, and we say, okay, our kids aren't listening to me. You know, they're not listening.
Oh, they're listening.
They really are listening. Yes. Even so, is that a long-term influence? We have a long-term influence?
Yes. As you'll see in the parent's guide, you can start talking to your kids from preschool age.
Okay. The second message that you have for us is to get involved in your child's life.
Absolutely. Ask them where they're going. Talk about who and what and why and when and how. How can you as a parent be involved? Do you need a ride? Or, and then there's that teachable moment in the car. We can talk a little bit about what you're doing and who you're going to be with, and do you need anything from me? But give them the tools in those conversations to help themselves.
That's one of the best PSAs that we're running right now, I think, is the teachable moment. That all the time that we spend with our kids in the car, especially. And I think one of the things is, that whole rule where your kids have to sit in the back seat until a certain age, that has just killed communication between parent and child, because it's hard, I forget, he's back there half the time, but you all really encourage us to take that time and use it, and you have questions specifically that we can ask.
Right.
And that can start up good conversations in the car.
Yeah, and you can make it less of an interrogation and more of a conversation. You want to just talk, find out what's going on, be gentle about it. There's no need to drill any information out of someone, but ask who you're going to be with and what are you going to be doing. And if you don't mind, I think I'm going to call your friend's parents and find out what else, if they need anything, and find out where you'll be. There's plenty of opportunities to talk.
There are. The third thing you say, make clear rules and enforce them, and consistency and consequences.
Exactly. You want to make, from a very early age, in the Parents Guide we talk about, once they reach about age 6 or 8, you can start talking about what your expectations are around drugs and alcohol for the people in the family. And then as they get older, remember that you can step in. If you feel like something's going on, you step in, talk about the rules that we've set, and here's our expectations, and if you've broken those rules, here are the consequences.
The next one is kind of a tough one. It says, be a positive role model. Now, does that mean that parents should, if you don't expect your child to drink or do drugs, does that mean that you as a parent, as an adult, should not drink? Is it drinking around your child, or you should just give up alcohol while you're raising your children? That can be sort of a challenge for parents.
It can be. I think parents have an opportunity to present to children a responsible use of alcohol. It means that you don't ask your kids to get you alcohol out of the refrigerator. It means that alcohol isn't the center of a celebration. It can be part of it, and it can be a responsible part of it, but show your kids how it's a good way to use it.
Okay. Teach your child to choose their friends wisely. I love that one.
Talk to them about, again, go back to those, because you've established these open communication lines when they were young and you've kept that up all these years. Talk to them a little bit about who they're choosing to spend time with and what kind of choices are these kids making, and that way you can, again, keep the conversation going, but then again, as they're older, they can think a little bit more critically about, do they really want to spend time with them, or who might be a more positive and maybe get me in less trouble kind of friend to have.
And quickly monitor your child's activities.
Exactly. Find out where they're going, who they're going to be with. Don't be afraid to call their friends' parents. And then don't be afraid to also open your home up to peer gatherings. Let their friends come over.
And you can volunteer to be the coach
Exactly.
for the game.
There are lots of opportunities.
Okay, you can get the Parents Guide to Talking with Kids About Drugs. You want to go to their website, which is www.drugfreecincinnati.org. www.drugfreecincinnati.org. And coming up, thanks, Holly. I appreciate you coming on. This is great information. Coming up, how do you know if you're donating to a legitimate charity? Well, we have information so you can give wisely when we come back.